Welcome to World of Tanks, this is Taugrim. Today I'm going to be opening 200 holiday loot boxes. These were given to the North America community contributors so that we can show you what comes out of these boxes. So in this first batch of 5 boxes, I got a custom skin for the Tier 10 Bat Chat. So the Tier 10 skins are one of the rewards you can get from the boxes. You can also get exclusive premiums, gold, premium time, credits, garage slots, and once per account you can get a special commander who you'll see pop up soon. Now in this particular set of 5 holiday boxes, I got the Leaf Blower, which is a mid-tier arty, as well as the very popular Tier 8 Defender, which I had never played previously, and I actually had several of you offered to buy it for me. I said, please no, this tank's overpowered or it's idiot proof. I played it. The armor is good, although I played it like an idiot to see how well the armor would hold up, and the answer is even a tank that has ridiculous armor will still get blown up when driven stupidly. Alright, I'm opening these boxes in batches of 5 to kind of speed this up, both because it's going to take forever for me to open up 200 boxes and I don't want you to have to watch me clicking on them one at a time. So Simon Claus is the exclusive commander you can get. He's the best commander in the game. He comes with 3 skills already trained. 2 are 0 skills, 0% skills, meaning you get them for free and they don't affect the experience requirements for future skills. So you get both Brother in Arms and Sixth Sense for free as 0 skill items, then you get a 3rd skill which is already fully trained. I haven't assigned Simon Claus to a particular tank yet. I got to figure out where I want to put him. But you can see I'm getting a fair amount of Tier 5 tanks that are dropping as premium. So I got the Leaf Blower, I got the KV 222 here, and the way that the loot boxes work, if you receive a premium in a loot box that you already own, you get the gold cost equivalent for it. Now, these 200 boxes on North America, if you were to buy them, cost $280. So there's an example there of the Leaf Blower. Since I already owned it or received it earlier from a box and it was in my garage, I received the gold equivalent for it. And then here's one of these really cool custom skins that you can get. In this case for the IS-7, it adds that really interesting kind of twin machine gun on top of the turret. I'm personally not a fan of loot boxes for a number of reasons. I used to play MMORPGs where you did stuff like raiding and heroic dungeons like with World of Warcraft, and the things that dropped may or may not be useful to you or anyone in your dungeon group or your raid, right? And so RNG was often the miserable process of just playing something and then hoping for the best. So I'm not a favor of RNG mechanics. They're loot box mechanics. They're really popular, still popular with Eastern MMOs, but most Western MMOs have phased them out because the developers understand they're a source of frustration for the players. Now, these 200 loot boxes would have cost me $280 to buy. If I bought 2 bundles of 75 boxes at $100 each, and then 2 bundles of 25 boxes at $40 each, so $280 total. And that may sound nuts. Like if you spend $280 in a game for the year, that breaks down to something like $23 a month, right? Which is really high. And that's even higher than the monthly subscription of games like World of Warcraft, which historically was $15 a month. And as you guys know, I think aside from World of Warcraft, I can't think of a single large-scale MMO that's maintained a critical mass of players aside from World of Warcraft. And even Blizzard knows at this point that's a success that they'll never have again, right? For the most part, games have transitioned to 2 business models: either buy to play, where there's an upfront amount you pay for the game. So like Overwatch and Guild Wars 2 did this, and then you can buy in-game items, or like in the case of Overwatch, strictly cosmetic items by spending real money. But in the case like Overwatch, you can't spend real money in a way that confers an in-game advantage, right? World of Tanks is different. Certainly the players who spend money on the game are going to be at a meaningful advantage for strictly free-to-play players, both in terms of their credit income, how fast they gain XP, which allows them to get their tanks fully researched and deleted faster, and then how fast the crews progress and train, because crew skills are very important in this game. Here I just unlocked a skin for the Gorilla, the German Tier 10 TD. And then, of course, last but not least, there are things such as premium consumables and ammunition. So, gold ammo confers a meaningful advantage over silver ammo in the vast majority of cases, but it is a credit sink. And so, while people have often said, oh, well, you can purchase premium ammo now or gold ammo with credits, there's no problem. It's like, no. It's a very, very subtle and clever credit sink, because this game revolves on your ability to have credits to be able to pay for equipment, modules, repairs, ammunition, new tanks, etc. Right? So I'm getting skins left and right here. I already got them for the Batchat, the IS-7, the Gorilla, the T-57. And I'm a big fan of, of skin-based customization that doesn't, provide any mechanical advantage. I think it's very fair. So I've opened up already 75 loot boxes. So that's $100 USD. Going back to, the amount of money on World of Tanks, if you told a person who'd never heard of World of Tanks that you were spending $280 on gift boxes to buy 200 gift boxes, they'd most likely look at you like you were crazy, right? And the World of Tanks economy as it is now, like even Wargaming would not be able to replicate this or have this in any future titles. Like, I think they dropped some of the more pay for advantage type of mechanics. I think, like, from my understanding, there is no such thing as premium ammo within World of Tanks, or at least it's done in such a World of Warships. It's implemented in a different way, right? And there have been a lot of people, including me, who have advocated for World of Tanks implementing their ammo system in a more balanced way, such as doing what Armored Warfare does, which is have different ammunition types available for each player, so you can load out different ammo mixes, and then each ammo has different trade-offs. So if you had APCR, for example, would have the highest penetration but lowest damage. If you have AP as high penetration, medium damage. If you load heat, it has lower penetration but high damage. And then if you load HE, it has the worst penetration but the highest damage. And then as it turns out here, as you get down to 5 boxes remaining of a given type, you can only open them up one at a time. I have been intentionally opening them up 5 at a time, so I'm halfway through. That's 100 boxes in, partly just because I'm impatient or want to make good use of my time. And also I thought from a viewer perspective, it'd be better if I just showed these going through in bundles of 5. So one of the things that, the carrot on a stick, which I haven't received yet in the loot boxes, is the IS-3A, right? So that was a premium tank which has existed for a number of years, and World of Tanks, Wargaming recently reworked that tank to have an auto reloader mechanic. The issue with that auto reloader is the way that it was implemented. Now, the auto reloader mechanic was first introduced with the Italian medium tank line, and in that case, the auto reloader I think was done right. So what the auto reloader allows you to do is to load up your clip with multiple shells, and you have the option of firing and reloading them one at a time, or you can dump your entire clip, so you empty out your clip to gain some compact burst damage, but then you have to suffer through a fairly long reload process. So with the Italian mediums, the fewer shells you have remaining in your clip, the longer it takes to load the next shell. And that seems like a very fair trade-off, which is if you want to dump your clip for burst damage, you're going to have to wait a while to get your ammo loaded back, right? But the issue with the IS-3A, it actually works the opposite. The fewer shells you have remaining in your clip, the faster it reloads, to the point where if you have no shells in your clip and you keep firing one shell at a time, you'll have a higher DPM rate than the Tech Tree IS-3. Now, it is true that the Tech Tree IS-3 has better gun handling and better mobility and slightly better accuracy, but the thing is with the IS-3A, because you can load up to 3 shells, you can dump 3 shells in a period of 6 seconds, which is tremendous burst. It's over 1,100 damage, almost 1,200 damage for a tier 8 tank, and then 12 seconds later, have your next shell loaded up again. So it's a broken mechanic. I wouldn't even call it, I wouldn't even call it overpowered. It just doesn't seem like it was implemented right. And now, if Wargamer were to go and rework that reloader mechanic so that the reload times are done the way that the Italian medium tanks were done, I think it would be fair. But going back to the overall cost, $280 for 200 loot boxes. For folks who play games other than World of Tanks, that just seems astronomically expensive. I think it is worth noting, honestly, that if you know you're going to be playing World of Tanks for a year, that purchasing the holiday loot boxes is by far the most efficient way to gain gold and premium time, right? Like in this case, obviously as a community contributor, I got these 200 loot boxes for free, but I now have by the end of this, I went from like 2,000 gold to like 137 or 139,000 gold. So I gained over 135,000 gold. As long as I'm not like blowing that gold, wastefully, that should last me until the next holiday season. So like I said, if you know that you're going to be playing the game for like another year, this is a pretty efficient way of doing it. I just don't like RNG mechanics, so I wouldn't buy these anyway. I'm more of a month-to-month guy, even though that's more expensive on a sustained basis, because you never know. At some point you may stop playing a game for whatever reason. I just don't want to end up in the situation where I spend a lot of money on a game and then I never end up going and using some of it. It just doesn't make sense to me. I also don't like the fact that because RNG is variable, you could either get phenomenally lucky with your loot boxes, or you could be one of those people who, gets a bazillion loot boxes and doesn't get the thing that they really wanted, right? And like in my case, I did end up getting an IS-3A, but I think it wasn't until, as you guys were watching, like I'd gone through already 150 loot boxes, so that would have been $200 spent to get there. Now, granted, I had the IS-3A in my garage because I'm a community contributor, but for most people, if you didn't already own one and you're not a community contributor, going and buying these loot boxes is the only way you're going to be able to get that, have a chance of getting that tank if you want that instant gratification. I do find it really interesting. I don't know how many more years Wargaming is going to continue to do this. Like, certainly the way that they've implementing monetization within World of Tanks, they can't even do this with their other games. Like for World of Warships and for World of Warplanes or any other game that they would do in the future, those kinds of monetization mechanics just aren't going to fly. Just like, Blizzard's World of Warcraft. Blizzard will never be able to create a game again where it has that type of monthly subscription, just because the market's moved past it and people just don't see it as a good value. I actually think the monetization of World of Tanks is actually fairly harmful in the way that, spending real money on the game confers an in-game advantage and in-combat advantage. Is going to hamper the health and population of this game in the long term. So, at some point, I hope Wargaming looks at what they're doing and adjusts their mechanics so that they're fair for the free-to-play players. Hope you enjoyed this video. Take care.